Hi friends, we are doing something different today. With all my past videos, you've watched me create a pretty good amount of layouts by now. I've always tried to combine a good mix of creativity and structure to make my life feel a little bit more fun. And in this video, I'll show you 3 layouts that are super beginner friendly, makes bullet journaling hopefully a little bit more approachable and less intimidating, while also giving you the space to be creative. So let's get started with the first layout. We're creating 2 columns that'll be for planning out your week, and the outside remainder will be spaces to let you get creative. So like artwork, mini trackers, anything you can think of. So I'm just using a black fine liner, 05 in size, to start outlining my columns. On your dot grid, you'll count 13 spaces from the center and create your column as tall as it can go. You'll notice that while I'm outlining, I'm doing something called line breaking. I like to call it that. Basically, I'm leaving random spaces and dots here and there to give the border a nice subtle texture to it. It's just something small you can add to give the spread a little bit of personality. You'll notice right about here is when I did a little bit of a hiccup, drawing in a corner just a bit too soon, so I'm just using my white gel pen to cover it up real quick, easy peasy, no need to stress over the small stuff. Now we'll go back in and start highlighting rows that'll be our headings for the weekdays. I'm using Tombow brush pens because they're water-based with really low opacity. It's really preferred to use markers like these because they're really easy to write over them and still stay legible. So markers like highlighters or mild liners should be just as effective. What I'm doing is starting with the second row and then counting down and highlighting the next row with 8 spaces in between. This will split each column in 4 sections, so you'll have 8 total. I typically do 8 sections when I want each day to have its own space and use the extra section for miscellaneous notes. Finally, I'll go back in with the same white gel pen to label each header. I'm only using a white gel pen this time because I happened to just choose a color that was on the darker side. Any other color though, I would typically just use a regular black pen. And ta-da! We have a super simple spread all done. With your weekly planning in the center, you're free to get creative and add any artistic elements if you like on the outer edges. What's really cool about this is that you can create a Dutch door effect and easily combine 2 weeks together if you wanted. If you don't have a paper cutter like this one, you can easily just use scissors and you can just cut 1 space width away from the outlined area. And if you have corner cutters, they're really convenient to use to trim up the corners to help blend in with the rest of the pages. And voila, just like that, you now have a whole new space to use for a brand new week while sharing 2 blank sides for creativity. So here is where I'll just repeat the exact same steps as last time to create another weekly. This can be really helpful whenever you need to combine weeks together for some reason while you're out of town for work and want to separate it from regular daily planning. Or you can use the second spread for something entirely different. Instead of just another weekly, you can use it for anything that might need some extra space, like some journaling on the side, writing about your day, or if you want to add trackers here weekly, it would be perfect for that too. There's just so many possibilities, and it's also nice and simple to achieve. That's what I love about this spread. I love the versatility of it. It allows for so many things to happen without having to learn anything too extensive. Just like that, you now have a whole second spread to work with. The Dutch door effect is so much fun because now they can share the same space for creativity on the outer sides of the spread. Now with a little extra time and creativity, you may end up with a few spreads like these. You can see that I used the second spread for journaling about my week, which is really fun to flip back to once in a while. And you can see that I really take advantage of the outer space for anything I want to happen there. Cute doodles that's related to my theme, random song lyrics, and some tracking here and there. It's all so convenient because it's all together. Now we can move on to our second layout. This one is really up there for one of my go-tos. What we do is essentially draw boxes that are for the daily planning. Typically I vary them out in size, and the leftover space is set aside for the fun stuff. What I like to do first is sketch out the square spaces, making sure the spaces in between are all even. On the left page, we're going to draw 2 boxes that will each be 15 spaces tall and 11 spaces wide. If you leave 2 spaces in between the boxes and a space on each side of the page, it should all even out and be pretty balanced. On the right side, we'll be making 4 boxes, each 12 spaces tall and again 11 spaces wide. Again, you're going to want 2 spaces between each box with a space on each side of the page. And if you haven't caught on to it yet, you'll notice that I aimed my boxes on the left page toward the bottom and the boxes on the right page toward the top. I do this on purpose to break up the page and not make the spread look too heavy on one side. Once all the sketching is done, I'm grabbing a medium fine liner to start outlining my boxes. This one I'm using is an 05 again. I'm not doing any line breaking for this one this time, and you'll see why soon. I am, however, leaving one big space in the middle of one side, and that is for the header where we'll write in our day of the week. For now, it's just one solid line for each box, just repeating the same steps. Then I'm going back in with a thinner fine liner, 01 specifically, to give the border a bit more texture. This is where I do my line breaking technique to add to that said texture and also add a little bit of personality and softness to the spread. And I'll basically be repeating the exact same steps on the right page. This one is super fun because you can decide where you want your header, whether it's on the top, bottom, side, right, left. I personally just decided to keep it all on the bottom for simplicity's sake. You'll also notice that I only drew 6 spaces this time instead of 8 like the last layout. There is absolutely no wrong way to do this. You can definitely do 8 boxes if you like. It would just be 4 boxes on each page instead of 4 and 2. I just did it this way because sometimes I just feel like combining my weekend days together. Like, not much has been happening lately and I wanted to commit more space to the creativity and fun part. It's all completely adaptable to you, and that's what I love about this. With the outlining all done, we can move on to the coloring options, which I think is where the fun part starts. First, I'll use the space on the right page to add my monthly title. Again, you can use this space for anything you need. I typically like to add the month that I'm currently on around here. Now for the coloring, for this example, we're using 2 colors together and making this a 2-tone spread. For what I'm about to show you, you really want to make sure you're choosing lighter colors. Basically, I'm going to be doing a gingham pattern on the box, and the way you do it is pretty simple. You just need to consistently draw brush strokes straight along the spaces, making sure to skip a space in between. So here I'm just quickly marking the space that I'm going to be coloring in to help me better visualize where I'm going. You'll do this vertically all the way first, then horizontally the exact same way. And then you'll slowly start to see that the overlapping of color is creating that soft gingham pattern. Now, the reason I say to use a lighter color is because we're literally coloring over the space we're going to be writing in, which means that we need colors that are light enough to be easily written over. I'm now taking my second color and essentially doing a swap of what I just did for the purple. It's now a gingham header with a solid colored box. That's why I like using multiple colors, because it can make the spread so much more fun to do while easily catching your eye when you look at it. And just like that, we have a second spread ready to use. It's so much fun making these spreads. You can see here that I clearly use it pretty often. I didn't get to do the gingham designs for this month, sadly, but if you follow me, you'll see that I did do it on some of my October spreads. Here, I just really took advantage of the big space and drew a lot of goofy scenarios with cute pandas. It really allows for bigger works of arts in your journal. And we now move on to our last and final layout tutorial. This has been so much fun for me so far, guys. I don't know about you. So this time we're essentially stacking all 7 days on top of each other, leaving space on the outer sides for creativity and fun. It'll be slightly similar to the first layout we did, but this one is more focused on organizing your tasks more efficiently. So what I'm doing right now is making tiny marks for where my break lines will be. I'll start by leaving the first space alone, then start creating tiny marks every 5 spaces until you've made 8 marks. Then, counting from the outside going in 9 spaces, I'm lightly penciling in a line vertically down that marks across the whole page, then drawing horizontal lines that connect to my initial marks. In the end, you should end up with 7 sketched out box rows on the left page. You'll repeat the same steps on the right, however, you'll be counting 17 spaces in, starting from the outside instead of 9 for the vertical line. Then, while leaving a space in between, you'll sketch on the immediate right side of the lines you just drew a 7 by 10 box. Then right below that, with 2 spaces in between, you'll draw a 7 by 11 box. Then right below that again, with another 2 spaces in between, you'll draw another 7 by 10 box. I know that was all way too much information, but hopefully you're able to follow along by just watching me here. Basically, I'm creating some extra boxes on the side to jot down certain things when needed. Now I'm grabbing a medium fine liner again to now draw in all the horizontal lines I sketched out. For this one, you do not need to outline the vertical lines on the outside unless you want to. I personally like the open look at this layout. You'll see what I mean in the end. Now, I'm taking a Tombow brush pen and just writing in the day of the week for each row, and I'll use the marker side of my pen to outline the boxes I sketched out. Now, you don't have to actually do this part. This is just me explaining how this layout works. But on the left side is typically where you'll list out tasks for each day. And on the right side, you can jot down important events that's happening on a certain day, or really anything you want to track separately. That's what this spread is for, essentially, to help organize your planning better for you. And the separate boxes on the side can be for like to do, this week, or notes, but again, whatever you want it to be. So you have your task column and your events column with 3 boxes on the side for whatever you need, and still space for a little creativity. I used this spread a whole lot during my college years. It really helped list out all the daily homework I needed to do while also jotting down when tests or exams were where I can clearly see them on the right side. It really helped me visualize better what to prioritize first while still having a good general idea of what the heck is going on. So I think this layout can be super duper helpful if you're a student. So now hopefully, if you're new to the bullet journal game, I hope it now feels a little less intimidating. Even though the title says that these layouts are good for beginners, I still use them to this day, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're here to help you get your life in the best place possible because it's supposed to be meant for you and no one else. Please feel free to share and tag me if you ever get to try these layouts out yourself. I would love to see them. Until then, you can catch me at Diligent Journals on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course YouTube. And thank you again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.